Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Blind Boys Politics. To start this episode out, we will once again have Chris give us some weather news.
In Los Angeles today is sunny 73, Houston, Texas, partly cloudy and 56, Chicago, Illinois, partly cloudy 34, and New York City, partly cloudy 49.
So, yet again, a nice looking day for weather, at least no rain in the forecast across these major cities.
I don't want to burst everyone's bubble, but this weekend there is rain in each city for Sunday. So there you go.
Well, at least here on the day of release, it'll be nice in those cities at least.
Especially in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Nick, want to go to Los Angeles with me?
I'll pass. No.
I know COVID's a little crazy there, but it's 73.
73, yeah, that's nice, but I don't know. I'm okay with just staying in my nice, comfy, cozy house.
Fine.
You can go alone.
I'm just putting myself in front of the space heater so it feels warmer.
Get a one of those sun lamps.
Mm-hmm. I'm just laying in front of the UV lights.
Yes, exactly. It's like you're tanning on the beaches.
That's what I said I'm going to start doing at work. Just bring in a nice lawn chair, lay out right under the UV lights in the basement.
That's amazing. But Chris, how are you? It's been kind of a crazy week. How are you holding up?
I'm ready for Saturday to be here. And that's because I'm not working at all. I'm not working for work. I'm not doing any school work. Nothing for the podcast. I'm due breaking news on Twitter, but besides that, I think I'm going to have a relaxing weekend and just get my week ready. Because I got a feeling next week is going to be a race to the finish line like this week is.
Yeah, I suspect that the next couple weeks will probably be pretty hectic overall. Just coming down to the end of things. And so
I mean, there's inauguration, so there's just going stuff on there. We got things going on in our own lives going on.
oh yeah. And there's just, obviously there's been a lot going on this week, which we'll get into here in a few minutes, but the chaos just in general, not necessarily bad chaos, but just the chaos in general isn't quite over. You'd expect, but so gonna need the energy over these next couple of weeks somehow.
Pepsi, my friend. Pepsi.
yeah.
I'm staying away from the sugary Pepsi. I'm staying away from it as much as possible. I almost bought one today, but I was like, no.
See,
no.
I've been on a coffee kick this week. The past 2 days now, I've been drinking like 2 of my travel mug, 2 rounds of my travel mug, which is pretty big. I can't remember how many ounces it is off the top of my head, but it's worth probably about 4 cups of coffee overall. And I've been drinking 2. I only drank 1 today. I didn't feel like making another, but coffee's been my savior.
Do you want me to drink coffee, Nick?
I think I'm kind of scared for you to drink coffee. I don't know what effect that'll have.
If you ever need a room painted in your house, just give me a pot of coffee, because it seems like, because I think we've talked about this, but I had a pot of coffee one day and I painted my bathroom. I don't know if those two things correlate, but
I'm not sure.
I can do like a little cup of iced coffee. I can do that, but like regular coffee, I have to stay away from it because I start bouncing.
Because you'll end up painting your house.
I have a cup of coffee. I can't sit still. I'm like, I'm like move things around. I'm paint rooms, obviously. Like,
Well, I think we're gonna have to test this one day. I think I'm gonna just have to make a pot of coffee one day and just force you to drink it. See what
no,
happens.
if
Scientific
I'm being
experiment.
honest with you, I think if I ever drink coffee again, that's like not iced coffee. I don't know if I'll be able to drink it because it's just like so caffeinated and so much sugar and just that like it doesn't make me sick, but like the taste of it now makes me sick.
Uh-huh.
Like I can't stand the taste. It doesn't make me physically sick. It's just like
Hold on.
ugh. But nevertheless, if I drink coffee, I drink my Pepsi. You drink in your 4 cups. I drink my 1 bottle of Pepsi.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
Let's just dive right in.
Yeah, that's probably the best thing to do.
So with that being said, with so much going on, we were going to be talking about the Georgia runoff today. I had it all planned out in the show notes. I was just waiting, watching the election, waiting for results, and that's what we were going to do. Well, much to my surprise, and I think rest of America's surprise, that kind of got pushed to the side.
Yeah, things changed for sure.
So we'll be talking about that Tuesday morning in our article on Medium, so go check it out. It will be our most recent article. It will be linked down here, so follow us there, and then you'll be able to see always our most recent. But that's what we'll be talking about Tuesday because we don't have time to talk about it today.
All right, so we get into our actual first topic, and before we get into the chaos that happened on Wednesday, we talk about some of the things that kind of led up to it. So first, we will be talking about the Washington Post exclusive. What this was is it was a phone call in between President Trump and the Secretary of State in Georgia. And we had the audio, of pieces of the phone call, some of the most important parts of it. So we'll play that for you right now, and then we'll explain a little bit about what it all meant.
Know what they did, and you're not reporting it. That's a criminal offense, and you can't let that happen. That's a big risk to you and to Ryan, your lawyer. That's a big risk. I think you have to say that you're going to re-examine it, and you can re-examine it, but re-examine it with people that want to find answers, not people that don't want to find answers. So look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state.
So that's some bits and pieces from it. It's an hour and 6-minute conversation. I listened to the whole thing and I put a bunch of it together into the most important parts. Like Nick already said, this is a Washington Post exclusive, so this is their story. We can't steal their story, but it's a widely talked about thing. I'm sure you heard it, so we just wanted to throw it out there. This is what's going on in case you haven't heard it, but pretty much it's President Trump, if you couldn't gather it together, President Trump asking the Secretary of State to say, we made a mistake. There was actually 11,780 votes for President Trump. And then that way it would overturn Georgia's election to President Trump and not President-elect Joe Biden.
Yeah, so that was the start to honestly a lot to come. So now we kind of start to get more into the main issue that went on this week, and that was the violence that took place in DC on Wednesday at the Capitol building. It started on Monday of this week. The Congress employees were advised and instructed to use their underground tunnel network to travel from their office buildings to the Congress floor. They normally do this anyway, due to the weather. Obviously, in DC right now, it's usually cold and snowy and gross, so they usually use that network anyway. But it's unusual for them to actually instruct this. This is normally just kind of a thing they do. And it was because, like, ahead of time, they were worried that something might happen.
They were just taking precautions at the time. At the time, no one expected of what happened to happen. So fast forward to Wednesday, 1 p.m., everything started as normal. Arizona was objected to, like it was talked about was going to happen. The proper steps were being taken. They were going to their individual chambers for 2 hours to discuss and debate and then come back for the vote. While they were interrupted, when they were notified, rioters were now in the building. They broke through all the barricades that were up and they got physically into the building, and Congress evacuated immediately.
So this went on for some time, and then at 4:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, President Trump did come out with a message speaking to his supporters. We have the audio for that right here, so we'll play it right now.
I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election, and everyone knows it, especially the other side. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people in law and order. We don't want anybody hurt. It's a very tough period of time. There's never been a time like this where such a thing happened, where they could take it away from all of us, from me, from you, from our country. This was a fraudulent election, but we can't play into the hands of these people. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special. You've seen what happens. You see the way others are treated that are so bad and so evil. I know how you feel. But go home and go home in peace.
After the audio of his message, pre-recorded message that he put on Twitter was sent, it really didn't make much of a difference. The mayor of DC put a curfew, 6 p.m. A 6 p.m. curfew. So then 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard comes around, the Capitol Police secured the Capitol. The curfew was in effect until 6 a.m. Thursday, and several law enforcement officers were injured. That's all we knew at the time. We were also made aware of the woman that got shot earlier in the day. She did pass away shortly after being transported to the hospital. So we also learned after that the House and Senate would be returning to the floor at 9 p.m. They were finishing their constitutional duty. They might have not, at the time they said they might not finish it that evening, but they were at least going to pick up from where they started. At the time, there was serious conversations in each party whether or not they were going to still object to Georgia and Pennsylvania. And the Democrats and Republicans said they would not cave to the mob and they were going to proceed no matter what.
And they did prove this. 9 p.m. came around. There were some pretty powerful statements that came out throughout the day, but Lindsey Graham did have a message that came out that pretty much says it all, in a pretty just straightforward manner, and we'll play that for you right now.
Joe Biden, I've traveled the world with Joe. I hoped he lost. I prayed he would lose. He won. He's the legitimate president of the United States. I cannot convince people, certain groups, by my words, but I will tell you by my actions that maybe I, above all others in this body, need to say this. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are lawfully elected and will become the president and the vice president of the United States on January the 20th.
So then 11:45 p.m. rolled around. The House and the Senate objected to the GOP attempt to reject or to object to Arizona's votes. And then after that, objections pretty much started to be less and less supported throughout the rest of the night.
At 1:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Senate rejects GOP's attempt to object to the PA electors. The Senate adjourned. So that means at that point, we knew it was over because both parties needed to agree to it. So we knew at that time it was over, but it wasn't officially over until 3:45 a.m.
Right. So at 3:45 a.m., there's no one can say it better than the official audio, which we'll play now.
The number of electors appointed to vote for President of the United States is 538. Within that whole number, a majority is 270. The votes for President of the United States are as follows. Joseph R. Biden, Jr. of the state of Delaware has received 306 votes. Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 232 votes. The whole number of electors appointed to vote for Vice President of the United States is 538. Within that whole number, a majority is 270. The votes for Vice President of the United States are as follows. Kamala D. Harris of the state of California has received 306 votes. Michael R. Pence of the state of Indiana has received 232 votes. The announcement of the state of the vote by the President of the Senate shall be deemed a sufficient declaration of the persons elected President and Vice President of the United States.
So that's it. It's over. It was completed. They completed their task. They completed their duty. And Joe Biden was officially certified and will become the next president of the United States when Inauguration Day comes on January 20th.
Let's be honest here. Wednesday was an insane day. This is going to go down in the history books. It's a major moment in history. So, of course, the next day, there's still going to be a lot going on. Some of the things that happened Thursday was 5 people had died from what happened at the Capitol, 1 being an officer. There have been 14 arrests made at this time. The FBI is asking you if you know any information. You've seen on social media bragging, I was there, I broke in, I did this, that, photos. Contact them. There will be 6,200 National Guard members there for the next 30 days working 12-hour shifts, and 9 Trump administration members have resigned due to this. And then this Thursday evening around 7 p.m., President Trump put a statement on his Twitter page, and we'll play that audio now.
I would like to begin by addressing the heinous attack on the United States Capitol. Like all Americans, I am outraged by the violence, lawlessness, and mayhem. I immediately deployed the National Guard and federal law enforcement to secure the building and expel the intruders. America is and must always be a nation of law and order. The demonstrators who infiltrated the Capitol have defiled the seat of American democracy. To those who engaged in the acts of violence and destruction, you do not represent our country. And to those who broke the law, you will pay. We have just been through an intense election and emotions are high. But now tempers must be cooled and calm restored. We must get on with the business of America. My campaign vigorously pursued every legal avenue to contest the election results. My only goal was to ensure the integrity of the vote. In so doing, I was fighting to defend American democracy. I continue to strongly believe that we must reform our election laws to verify the identity and eligibility of all voters and to ensure faith and confidence in all future elections. Now Congress has certified the results. A new administration will be inaugurated on January 20th. My focus now turns to ensuring a smooth, orderly, and seamless transition of power. This moment calls for healing and reconciliation. 2020 has been a challenging time for our people. A menacing pandemic has upended the lives of our citizens, isolated millions in their homes, damaged our economy, and claimed countless lives. Defeating this pandemic and rebuilding the greatest economy on earth will require all of us working together. It will require a renewed emphasis on the civic values of patriotism, faith, charity, community, and family. We must revitalize the sacred bonds of love and loyalty that bind us together as one national family. To the citizens of our country, serving as your president has been the honor of my lifetime. And to all of my wonderful supporters, I know you are disappointed, but I also want you to know that our incredible journey is only just beginning. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
By this audio, we can see that President Trump has conceded. He has agreed to and announced for a peaceful transition of power. And he has accepted that there will be a new administration come January 20th.
As I mentioned earlier, I had a whole different show planned. A lot of those things will be moved over to the Monday show. Some are more stimulus news from the IRS, an update on the Christmas morning bombing, and of course a COVID-19 update.
Obviously, we felt that this was something that needed to be talked about. This was something that we needed to put focus on because this was an event that shook America as a nation and just shook us visually from other countries across the world. So obviously it's big news, and if you missed out on any of it, we wanted to bring the information to you here.
Before we move into rapid news as usual, I think that we should say something, and that is, it's our jobs as journalists to report the facts. We do not report what you want to hear. So we are going to piss off Democrats. We are going to piss off Republicans. We're going to piss off everyone in between, because that's what our job is. We are here to report the facts and not spare people's feelings.
Chris, you said it perfectly. From the very beginning of all of this, we made it clear that our purpose and our wishes here with this podcast were to give you facts. It was to give you information, truth, factual information. We never have ever wanted to make this platform into anything that it shouldn't be. We don't want it to lean in any direction. We don't want it to seem biased in any way, shape, or form. And that'll continue in 2021. 2021 will be obviously a new year. It'll be a whole new experience, as we'll get an entire year to bring you guys content. But it's going to be the same as how it started for us here. And that's to give you fact. That is to give you pure, just straight up information.
When the Biden administration is in office, when there is facts to be given about the Biden administration, whether or not it makes the Biden administration look good, bad, indifferent, any news, it's our job to tell you the facts, not put our feelings, not spin any story. It's our job to tell you the facts. We spend hours, probably a day, reading through the headlines of all news sources, not just one or the other, to make sure we dig through, get the facts, and explain it in a clear way for you to understand. And this isn't a message of slowing down. If anything, it's a message that we're speeding up.
And of course, just to make it completely clear, this doesn't just pertain to politics. This will pertain to anything and everything, whether we decide to bring up a story of celebrity news, no matter what major event is going on across the country, across the world, if we're including it here, you're guaranteed fact and nothing short of that.
We are in the fact business, not the gossip business.
Exactly. So just a little, just a little something that we wanted to say, just to make our position here with this podcast very clear, because we don't want to get confused. We don't want people to get us confused for anything other than this.
With that being said, let's get into rapid news. The 117th Congress was sworn in Sunday, January 3rd.
In the Georgia runoffs, both John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock have projectedly won.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is asking Vice President Mike Pence to use the 25th Amendment, where she will start the impeachment process on President Trump.
Just a little editor's note here. President Donald Trump will be spending the weekend at Camp David. And that is all we have for rapid news. And now we get into good news, Chris's favorite topic, and I have our story today. But I kind of have two things to share. One's just a very quick little update on a previous good news story that Chris was kind enough to make me aware of.
I was going to say, when I told you this, I kid you not, Nick texted back, "That's so cool," with 12 exclamation points.
I did, because if you remember, there was a good news story a few episodes ago, where we talked about a homeless man down in Atlanta who saved 10 dogs and 6 cats from a burning shelter. There's been an update on that whole situation. There's now been a GoFundMe page started after all that happened that has raised $40,000. So a nice little update there. But there was another story that I also wanted to share too, that I found. I think it would have been Tuesday morning. I think it was Monday or Tuesday morning. So there was an oncologist who ran his own clinic, and he had been running it for 29 years, and he decided that it was time to shut down and retire.
I heard about this.
Well, he still had a lot of patients who had debts to pay. And at first, he tried to work with the billing company to find these people and try to get them to pay on their debts and all of that. But after searching for a little while and working for a little while, he just decided to forgive the debt. So he worked with the billing company once again and forgave everyone's debts. And he sent them all a letter. This happened right around the holidays. So a lot of people got a nice little holiday surprise. Some of these people, you got to understand, were in hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of debt. So it was a huge gesture by this oncologist to do this. He's
feeling happy. He's retiring.
Yeah, no kidding.
I like that story. I heard about that, and I was shocked when I saw it, especially with I think there was a total amount of how much he forgave.
Yeah.
But I don't remember the amount, so I won't say amount, but it was a very large amount, and that's a really good story.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was definitely, it was over 500,000. That I do remember. And it was great.
That is the end of this Friday morning episode. I hope you all have a great weekend. If there is a new story that you want us to cover, make sure you DM us on Twitter because we will make sure to talk about it first thing Monday morning. But until then, make sure you follow us on all social medias. Links down in the show notes. But until Monday morning, see ya.
See you guys.